So we're still right smack dab in the middle of serving season. Usually we either go somewhere that someone's serving us or people come over and we're serving them. So I thought today I would burn up a piece of scrap I got from a buddy. It's just a standard butcher block. He was toying around making some cutting boards and I got his offcuts, so figured why not put one of these to use and make a little something handy that I can use around the house for our own little serving needs. Gonna take, again, this butcher block, and I whipped out a little template out of MDF. Let's build it. This piece of scrap happened to be pretty square already. I did trim it up on the table saw a little bit. Now I'm just gonna sand up a little bit on the sides and get rid of those saw marks and get her all prepped. Now I'm going to find the center of this piece here, and what I'm going to do next will be drawing some cheater marks. I got center marked out on my template, so all I'll have to do is line up these marks with the marks on my template, and I know that it's going to be right in the center of this piece. Using the tried and true painter's tape and CA glue just to hold that template down, I got the butcher block clamped down pretty good to the surface, although you can see that one clamp starting to slip, so I'm going to have to adjust that. Just line her up with the marks, give her a good press for a couple seconds, and it'll be good to go. Routerbitmall.com sent me their 1/4-inch trim router bit set that I'm going to be using on this project. They all look pretty decent, but the one I'm interested in is this one right here. This is going to allow me to dish out that center how I want it done. I'll have a link to the exact set that I got, as well as a 8% off discount code with no minimum purchase, whether you decide to pick up this template set or any other bit to try out for yourself. This is the first time I've actually ever plunge routed anything, and it's not really near as bad as it sounds. Just up one side, down the other, right out the middle to clean up the peak. Adjust your router to plunge a little deeper, up, back, right back up the center. Did this in 3 steps so I didn't overstress the router or the template bit. All right, got that template pulled off, and I got some cleanup to do here. You can really see where I started and stopped with that bit. But overall, I am pretty happy. I'll have to do just a little light sanding. This bit cuts really nice. It's pretty clean cut. I think more of the sanding is just going to be for where I burned it. But considering this is my first time plunge routing anything, I'm pretty happy. So I'm gonna get to doing some sanding to get rid of that burn, and then we'll probably go ahead and put an edge on this. Give it a little round over just to soften those corners a little bit. All right, got most of the sanding done. I just went ahead and put a sanded round over on this edge because honestly, I got a little thin right there. I should have made it a little bit shorter, but it is what it is. Again, this is the first run at ever trying doing something like this, and sanded that edge off a little bit. Now, future me visited and told me I'm probably going to want feet on this. So I'm just going to mark off 1 inch on each side, and I'm going to center punch that so I at least have the locations of where to put those, because I am probably still going to do a round over on the bottom, a full round over on the router table. So we'll go ahead and get these spots marked out, get them center punched, and head to the router table with it. Just doing a real basic round over. Looking back, I wish I would have done a more aggressive round over, but I always tend to err on the side of a lesser round over just so I don't get too carried away. But overall, it gave me the profile I was looking for, just to get off that square edge. Now, since this probably will be used for meat and cheese, there's going to be some sort of moisture content. So I'm going to go ahead and just give this a light spray with some water. Water pop that grain before I seal it up with, I'm probably just going to go with some mineral oil and then some board wax. I'm just going to let this sit and dry. I'll come back and probably sand her down again with some, I'll probably just stick with the 120 and give it its mineral oil bath. Got that all sanded up and wiped down. Pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. Now I'm just going to give it a bath in some mineral oil. All right, I'll let this sit. Let her soak in, and I'll probably come back and, I'm guessing I'll probably apply another 2-3 coats to this over the next several hours just to make sure it's good and soaked through. Don't want her to be very thirsty. And then we'll come back and put some feet on it. Put 3 layers of mineral oil on this. Let her sit overnight and just dried her off. She really soaked it up, that's for sure. Drill out for those feet. Gonna go ahead and get those feet put on. These are some feet that I just got right off of Amazon. I'll have links for the stuff that I use on this build in the description. And come back here and just give them a little snug by hand. Hate to completely ruin this thing at this point. All right, there we go. Flip her over here and get to the board butter. And like just about everyone else on the planet, got a little recipe for board butter. Pretty basic, beeswax, mineral oil, nothing overly special, but got a mixture I kind of like. Go ahead and get this coated and let her sit and then come back and buff it off. Giving this a good buff job here. And after doing this on a scratch and dent second, I wouldn't be too afraid to do one that was maybe a proper panel glue up. This thing sure was thirsty though. I'm guessing this thing was probably sitting in this shop for, I bet you a good 6 months before I got to doing anything with it. But doesn't look half bad. So next time you see this, it'll be all loaded up, ready for use. And here we have it in all its glory, all loaded up. It's not an overly large size serving board that you normally see, but if you stack it right, you can get quite a bit of stuff on here. Here I got 2 different types of cheese balls, 2 different types of hard salami. I have a small set of pinwheels. I got some rolled up prosciutto and a couple stacks of Colby and Colby Jack cheese with 2 different types of crackers going up the center. That's about all it takes to make a solid serving tray. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Hope the holidays treat everyone good, and thanks for watching.